Hey everyone, welcome back to The New Critic, and today we're going to be looking at Season 6 of The Walking Dead. So in this season, the story is split in two halves. The first half focuses on Rick and the community of Alexandria as they take on the biggest zombie horde they have ever had to face. And the second half introduces new communities like Hilltop and the Saviors, who come into conflict with Hilltop and Alexandria. So this is the season that many consider to be the beginning of the end of the glory days of the show. And it's easy to see why, but I'm actually on the opposite end of the spectrum and I really enjoyed it. It's definitely got its problems, but it's very underrated, and we'll get into why. So first of all, I really appreciated the size of the zombie horde. It really amplified the overall urgency in this season. There's also the wolves, a gang that was introduced at the end of season 5, and I liked how they came into play. Morgan is back in this season, and after making guest appearances here and there, it's finally good to see him back playing a major role. Though there's one aspect of his character that not everybody is going to approve of. It's his whole philosophy about how all life is precious. I can understand where he's coming from, and I actually liked this aspect of his character, but it may piss some people off. There's a flashback episode explaining how Morgan began to develop the whole all life is precious philosophy, and it's one of the best episodes of the season. Carol is a badass as usual, though things change for her in the second half, and not everybody likes that, but I don't mind it, and it kind of made sense as to why she became the person she did in that second half. The influence that Rick has on the community of Alexandria is felt in this season, though there are some who still disagree with his methods. Nicholas, the most hated character from season 5, begins somewhat of a redemption arc in this season, and his interactions with Glenn were great. I liked where everything went from there. If you hated Father Gabriel in season 5, then don't worry, he actually becomes likable in season 6. Several character relationships change throughout this season, for the better of course, and the build-up in the second half leading to the introduction of the Saviors results in one of the most unique, albeit controversial, finales of the series, and probably in all of television history. Now this season has tons of pacing issues. Firstly, if you wonder why the first half is such a drag, it's because the events of that first half all take place on the same day. So it's bound to meander at times, no matter how exciting or action-packed some episodes are. In fact, the first half is such a drag that the events of the mid-season finale are actually dragged out to the mid-season premiere, which is the beginning of the second half. And if you were watching this show at the time, you had to wait 3 months or so for the mid-season premiere, making the slow pace of the season even more frustrating. And even if you binged this season, it's still gonna be a problem. The flashback episode with Morgan about how he developed the whole life is precious mentality, like I said, it's a great episode, but it's an hour long, and considering it focuses solely on Morgan, it didn't need to be an hour long. After the ending of the 9th episode, there's an awkward time jump, and certain developments may feel rushed because of that. And even the build-up to the introduction of the Saviors in the second half is bound to drag at times. And unfortunately, the pacing doesn't get any better in the next 2 seasons. The characters also make some dumb decisions from time to time. And not only that, but there is some manipulative storytelling and writing throughout the season. And it wasn't a huge issue for me, but a lot of people hate this particular aspect of season 6. There's some fake outs, some cliffhangers that feel tacked on for shock value, especially in the finale. I'm not gonna spoil it, but it's probably the most controversial episode on the show because it ends on such a manipulative cliffhanger. But hey, this is what happens when you have Scott Gimple as the showrunner. And believe me, it gets worse from here onwards. Until he left the show, of course. So yeah, that was my review of Season 6 of The Walking Dead. It's a great season, but it has a lot of issues. Next time, we're going to be looking at Season 2 of Fear the Walking Dead. So, thank you all for watching. Please be sure to like the video, share it, and subscribe, and hit the notification icon. Be safe during this time, and I'll see you soon.